Well, joining me now is Andy Cook, CEO of Industrial Relations Experts, Marshall-James. Thanks very much for coming in to speak to us. So if you could just put this into some context for us, what could strike action mean for BAA's UK airports, particularly if the likes of London Heathrow and Stansted were shut down?
Well, it'd be disastrous. And this seems to me another example of where Unite, the union, are trying to flex their industrial muscles to try to force an employer to come to the table and offer more money. Now, we're looking at an organisation, BAA, which has already declared losses and half-year losses, and yet the union's asking for more money. And so the two things don't quite add up.
So will BAA be able to avoid all of its airports being closed at this point? What's your assessment?
Well, I think that if strike action goes ahead, because there are bunches of key workers that are involved, such as firefighters and security guards, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to be able to open the airports. When you look at the statistics around who voted and how many people voted in action, around 50% of the workforce voted in favour of industrial action. And so it does seem quite strange that just half of the workforce voted in favour of industrial action, and yet the impact on that is to close 6 UK airports. So I think BAA are going to find it very difficult to be able to open the airports if they do go forward and go on strike.
But is the threat of strike action likely to force BAA back to the negotiating table to perhaps agree a better pay offer for workers?
Well, they're going to go to ACAS today. ACAS isn't really a scientific method of trying to resolve a dispute. You get the two sides in a room, and someone from ACAS will scuttle between them. They'll be in separate rooms, scuttle between them, probably wearing the carpet out, trying to find some common ground to see if either side is willing to give anything at all. And because this is an old-fashioned pay dispute, i.e. the union are trying to get more money from the employer, then it's really going to be down to whether BAA are willing to up its offer of 1% plus the extra 0.5% in return for changes to the sickness scheme. And if it looks like there's going to be some movement, then they may well meet together in the same room. But it's no more scientific than that.
Of course, when we talk about the threat of strike action, when we talk about the looming possibility, this has already caused uncertainty amongst passengers, airline customers, those perhaps wanting to book flights but are now holding back.
Yeah, absolutely. And the union will know that. So the union is leveraging, I think, the peak travel period in the summer as a way to put maximum pressure on the company to try and up its pay offer. And so there is some method behind what might seem to be madness. And this is the same union, of course, that was behind the British Airways strike, which is still unresolved, actually. We're going to wait to find out what's going to happen there. So at every turn, it seems that the travelling public may well be held to ransom by Unite.
More obstacles.
Yeah.
And just very briefly, the BAA's traffic has already been hit by the BA strikes, as you say, affects the volcanic ash cloud. Can they really afford yet more industrial action here?
Well, I don't think so. It's not just BAA, though, is it? It's the airlines and the people that rely on the airport.
Their earnings that'll be affected as well.
And all the retailers, etc., etc. Because if the airport closes, the loss in revenue will be pretty major.
Andy Cook, thanks very much indeed.